Hi guys, we are on to day 11 and I have run out of fingers, so unless I were to use my toes, you're not going to be able to count with my fingers how many days we're on. So today we're going to be sharing with you a little bit of footage that was filmed during a recent class on centering. So I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. Centering is my favorite of the basics to be learning. And the basics, which are grounding, centering, protecting, and allowing or listening. And this is what you really need to learn if you want to be a medium. Or if you just want to be more enlightened and more in tune with your environment. I've worked with counselors and they're like, these skills are amazing. Anybody could use them. So here's some footage from centering. I hope you enjoy. Centering is everything when it comes to mediumship. Grounding helps keep you tethered. Protection helps make sure that things are staying at bay. Allowing and the listening, that is when you get those messages and you hear them. But if you're not centered, you're not going to interpret those messages in an appropriate fashion. And they can very easily become skewed, because if you're not centered, you have your perception, your ego, your lens really filtering all of those messages. So we're going to hear what we want to hear when we're not centered, as opposed to what my spirit might really be putting in front of us. That is why, in my opinion, centering is the most important of all of the basics. Because if you're working from the lens and all of those truths that you have learned in the past, how are you really going to interpret the future? You're living in the past and not moving into what may be coming. Centering is so hard to describe. Because nobody, not one, not the Dalai Lama, not Gandhi, not Mother Teresa, no one masters it while they're on this plane. Quite honestly, I don't feel even once you hit the spirit realm, you master being centered. I think the only entity that is alive, exists, that is centered, is God itself. Everybody else has their own lens, their own filter, their own purpose. So it's something that, while I can give you tips today, you're going to be working on the rest of your life. Hopefully it'll be something that it becomes easier, and it's easier to recognize what those pains, those hurts, those truths are. So it's easier to become centered and put that lens, that filter aside. But it never goes away. It's something you're going to be working on for the rest of your life. Once you are working on centered, the allowing comes naturally. Because Spirit's already working with you. You wouldn't be here if Spirit wasn't working for you. And even when you're not here and you don't think Spirit's working for you, they're working for you. You think of Spirit as like that parent. The universe is that parent. That parent is going to do what they think is best for you, whether you like them or not, whether you fight them or not, whether you come out, if that kid comes out swinging at you. That parent is going to be like, it's okay, I love you, come here, let me give you that big hug. That's the universe. The lens comes from places that we don't even realize. The ego steps in, and it is even our children. My daughter at 2.5, she already has truths imprinted on her. She already has pain bodies and is already experiencing that. We're damaged by our parents, for good or for bad. We damage our children for good or for bad, and not because we choose to. Some of it is just that society with it which we live in. That's what centering what it really is all about. It's getting rid of that lens, getting rid of that filter, so you can see to some of the truth, to some of the reality. And one of the great things about centering is by recognizing where that fear, where that hesitation comes from, it allows you to overcome that and make the conscious choice as to whether or not you're going to stay in the place you're at and take the advice of Spirit. That conscious choice alleviates any of that fear, any of that discomfort, and it gives you the power and it empowers you. And that's what centering is all about, is finding your power. You think about where the center is, it's right in the center of your body, right at your core, your solar plexus, your navel. Some people, they'll feel it in their heart. Women more often will feel it in their heart than men. But where you ideally would want to be feeling it is right in your solar plexus. I hope you like what you're seeing. If you are, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel so you get the notifications. And if you haven't watched my last few videos, you need to. Yesterday's was so much fun to film. My husband was laughing hysterically. I'm surprised the camera wasn't jostling. So like, subscribe, check out my past videos, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow.